Call us to order first, or?
Are we live there? Okay.
Chair.
The chair.
Okay. This is a meeting of the Breckinridge County School Board. At 5 o'clock, we'll have the tax rate hearing for the school year of the special called meeting at the Breckinridge County Board of Education Annex.
Okay.
And we just.
Right now, we do not have anyone present who wishes to speak. So we can wait a few minutes and see if
We'll give
anyone
it a few.
shows up.
Sounds great.
Oh.
Now. Okay. All right, we've not had any comment on the special call meeting for the hearing of the tax rate, so we'll go ahead and call our meeting to order. We do have a few guests in the building, but they'll be speaking later. I think we've got Chip hanging on. All the board members are here. Under routine consent actions, item A is approve the minutes from the regular called meeting, August the 12th, 2020. Approve the treasurer's orders. Approve payment of bills. Approve old school buses and maintenance vehicles as surplus according to KRS regulations. Declare technology equipment and other district equipment as surplus and approve disposal according to the KRS regulations. Approve the board members to virtually attend the KSBA 2020 Fall Regional Meeting, October the 22nd, 2020 via Zoom.
So moved.
Joy makes the motion,
Second.
and Mark seconds. Any other discussion? All those in favor? I'll carry that, thank you. Student presentation and recognitions.
All right. Well, we have 4 students from Kentucky that were selected as Fuel Up to Play 60 state ambassadors for the 2020-21 school year, and all 4 are from Breckinridge County. They are Kylie Greenwell, Ava Macy, Zona Stout, and Keely Fraley. They will work with 74 other students across the nation to create content that educates others on one of the following themes: overall health and wellness, a greener planet, and building a healthier community. They will also be asked to create a plan and share their content. State ambassadors will be asked to do additional things and provide support as part of the national Fuel Up to Play 60 ambassador team. Congratulations to the Tiger golf team for defeating Meade County last week in a close match. The Tigers were led by Shelton Smith and Hunter Barr, who hit some great shots on a challenging Doe Valley golf course. The Tiger golf team placed 4th out of 17 teams this past Saturday at the Butler Invitational as well. Congratulations to the Lady Tiger volleyball team for defeating Whitesville Trinity last week in their season opener. Congratulations to the Fighting Tiger football team for defeating Caverna High School on September the 11th, 2020, and good luck to the Fighting Tigers tomorrow night, Friday night at Grayson County High School. Also, I'd like to congratulate our Lady Tiger soccer team for their thrilling 1-0 victory against McLean County on September 14th. And I'd like to congratulate Ben Johnson Elementary School and Irvington Elementary School music teacher, Mrs. Sarah Bertrammel. She recently was named 4th District KMEA Elementary Music Teacher of the Year for the 2020-21 school year. And that concludes recognitions.
Nice job. We'll move on to item 4 to discuss and approve the Series 2020 bonds. Item A would be to hire the Robert W. Baird Company Incorporated as the financial advisor.
Move to approve. Actually, Chip has come down here. We've used them for every bond issue we've done, so move to approve.
We have no issue with them. Motion? Vanessa makes a motion.
Second.
Mark seconds. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Item B is consider approval of a resolution authorizing a contract, rent, and lease with Breckinridge County School District Finance Corporation, and approve all other documents in connection with proposed Breckinridge County School District Finance Corporation Series Bonds 2020B bonds. And Jenny, you wanna-
Yeah. Chip,
Hey, everybody.
Hi, Chip.
Good to see everyone. Glad to be here. Sorry I have to talk to myself through the mask, but that's how we are, but I'm happy to be here. So, happy to answer any questions you guys have. We're geared, as you know, with approvals this evening on from the board to enter into that lease with the Finance Corporation. Then we can, the administration can borrow the money for the project. And one of the things I thought that would be important for you guys to know that measures that you all took to get revenue for the school district locally was rewarded. At the state level, it brings a lot more money to Breckinridge County that you wouldn't have otherwise had not the board and the administration led that charge. And the reason why I bring that up is because despite borrowing close to $9 million plus or minus this time around, you're still going to have capacity afterwards, which is very important for Michael in terms of having dry powder and because now you have some nice facilities, you need to keep them up, and things are going to pop up. And the school board, despite borrowing this money tonight, is in a great position just to have dry powder in case something pops up. So I'm smiling under here, but you can't tell. So
We are too.
that's good. That's wonderful. It's gosh, it's been quite a journey the last 10, 15 years in terms of what you hoped to accomplish and kind of where you all are now in terms of the facility needs you all have addressed, particularly in the last 5 years. And to still have dry powder, it leaves the administration in great shape. So anyway, I have the summary of the resolution, and I can read that for you all and take that. I'm happy to answer any questions. Michael, you think I've left anything out?
No, we're gonna sell bonds on the 23rd, hope to close on the October 14th.
Market's pretty good. I mean, you know, to say the least. You know, we have conservative interest rates in here. We're gonna borrow money for 20 years and it's gonna be less than 3%. It's probably could be even below 2.5%. So it's really absurd how low interest rates are. But that's where we are. And, you know, if you need to borrow money, now's a good time to do it. So
Timing couldn't have happened better for us.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm smiling again. It's hard to know. Mike, can we read the resolution or how do you want to handle that?
I don't think it's necessary.
All right, good. That's fine with me. It saves some wind.
So the first thing we need to do is to approve the resolution as part of the board.
Move to approve.
Rick makes the motion and Joy will second. Any other discussion there? All those in favor? Thank you. All right. Now,
Thank you.
yep,
Yeah, see.
If you want.
Yeah, I'm good.
okay.
I'm back here. I'm not going anywhere. I'll see you later.
Chip?
Okay, so at this time, we're going to recess the special called board meeting for a special called meeting of the Board of Directors of the Breckinridge County School District Finance Corporation. Do we need a motion for that, or we can just recess?
You can just read.
Okay. So in the Finance Corporation, we'll move to item A. Consider approval of a resolution authorizing the issuance of Breckinridge County School District Finance Corporation School Building Revenue Bonds, Series of 2020B, and advertising for bond sale and all other documents in connection with the bond issue.
So moved.
Joy makes the motion.
Second.
Rick seconds. Any other discussion there? All those in favor?
Move to adjourn.
Joy.
Finance Committee.
Joy makes a motion to adjourn the Finance Committee.
Second.
Mark seconds. All those in favor? And we will reconvene the special called meeting of the Breckinridge County Board of Education. Move on to item 7, discussion and action items. Under item A, instruction and curriculum, will be the Head Start report. Hello, Jared.
Hey, Jared.
Hey, Jared. Well, we had a great August with our new normal that we have anyway. Teachers completed virtual home visits and begun documenting baseline data on their children. Family service coordinators work with families on remote learning needs, and management trained with teachers on the new cloud-based curriculum. And I know Dale's very proud of that. We're some nice puffy cloud for our curriculum. So that's my report. Any questions about that?
Glad things are moving on.
It's moving just fine. So, thank you.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Thank you. We'll move to item 2, review the school district's plan to return to in-person instruction.
All right, thank you all. Before I do that, though, I do want to take a second to recognize our Head Start preschool staff in the district. They're just, Mr. Brightman, they're doing a fantastic job, and it's such a needed service for our community and for our schools and for children. So I just want to take a second to recognize those folks. Today has been a very exciting day in the school district. Earlier today, we unveiled our plans to return back to in-person instruction on September the 28th of 2020 under an A-B schedule. Now, our A-B schedule is going to be on Monday through Thursday. Our students in the A group will go to school on Monday and Tuesdays, and students in the B group will go to school on Wednesday and Thursday. So we're very excited about that. Also, and I'll turn your attention, we also unveiled some things that's on our website. So one, I'm going to go to our website here and click on what we call the BC COVID-19 Data Dashboard. The state of Kentucky is requiring that school districts report cases in our schools and quarantine staff and quarantine students. So this is the way that we're going to do it, and this is really how we're going to work to remain open. And you'll see where the Breckinridge County Health Department, Mr. Scott Shrewsbury, he sends me the information for each day in the evening. And so you'll see that as of yesterday, we had 21 active cases in Breckinridge County. And you can just kind of go through, and each day folks will be able to visit this webpage and they can see the number of current cases in the county, the number of current cases in our schools, our number of quarantine on-leave staff, and our number of quarantine in-person students, and then our KDPH incident rate level, which right now in Breckinridge County is yellow. So kind of scrolling down a little bit, you'll see that we've got a formula here that that we will use to develop what we call a school decision index readiness rating. And whenever you input our numbers into the formula, Right, for yesterday, we were at a 4.5. Now, the thing to pay attention to is this red area up here. If we move into the red area, that is the area that we will have to really start to consider. Do we need to go back to 100% remote learning at home? And I don't want to be mistaken here. I'm not saying that if we go into red, we're definitely going to do that. But for our community and that whenever they're monitoring that and they can see, and I really like this graph because you can see the trends. You can start to see if we start to creep up into the red, folks will have an idea that, okay, we definitely need to be thinking about what's going to happen if we get into that red area. Now, we might get into the red area, and when we do, if we do, we'll consider all the factors. It might be a factor that doesn't impact school at all, and if it doesn't, we'll remain open. So that's kind of how we're going to go about, using the data to help us make the best decisions possible as far as remaining in person or not. Our hope is that once we get started with our with having in-person classes on an AB schedule, that our COVID numbers will stay very, very flat, and we won't see huge increases there, so that hopefully after a few weeks, we can start to transition back to 5 days a week, all of the students. But when we do that, the one thing that's important for everybody to remember is that we're going to have to take a gradual approach, because we certainly don't want to do anything that could cause an outbreak or anything like that. But we are very excited about this. We're excited to get back to having our kids in school every day. I want to take this opportunity to thank our local medical community for just all the work they've done since the pandemic hit, but especially over the last couple of weeks, there's been several members of the local medical community who have given me advice and helped educate me on some different areas, so I'm very appreciative to them. Another great part of our website that I would encourage folks to visit is right here, this Return to School Roadmap. And whenever you open that up, you'll see you can get to our dashboard there. There's a lot of really good information, our school calendar. Our tab here is called Relaunch Breckinridge County, and it's got the AB schedules and student rosters on there. So there's a lot of really good information. We know that we still have a lot of information to communicate. We're planning on, Mr. Dale Butler and I worked about all day today working on plans to communicate information daily for the next few days to help our community understand what's getting ready to happen on September 28th. So with that being said, does anybody have any questions about our plans?
Glad to be get back in the building.
Yes.
Yes, we are. All right. Thank you all for giving me a few minutes.
Okay, awesome. We will move on to item B, operations. And number 1 is here the updates on the district guaranteed energy savings at the high school project.
Andrew, go first. Zeke, can you hear me?
Should be able to.
Andrew, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'd be happy to.
Okay.
Let me get my screen up.
We got to get up here.
Can you guys see that?
Yep.
Yes.
All right, well, I'm thankful for the opportunity to be able to share an update with the board, and I'm happy to report that construction for the HVAC portion of the Guaranteed Energy Savings Project is complete. Almost all punch list items are closed out. All mechanical and electrical items are closed out now. We had some materials delayed on the lighting side that we now either have in hand or have confirmation of shipping. If you went at the high school today, you'd see them replacing pole lights and site fixtures around right now, and all of that work will be complete by the middle of next week. We have confirmation that the decorative fixtures for the new commons area lighting have shipped and will be in hand Tuesday, and they will likewise be installed by the middle of next week, barring any unforeseen setbacks. So the HVAC system at the high school is up and running, performing very well so far. We have remote access to the control system, and the controls contractor is finishing final programming, and we're going through the commissioning process on it. But the building is fully conditioned and operational at this point, and ready to receive students whenever the district is ready to make that step. So I was hoping to have the opportunity to share with the district a couple before and after pictures but prior to the project to now, primarily focusing on the HVAC renovation at the high school. So you can see we had the old boiler system before, quite dated and not nearly as efficient as modern technology. Now we have those two large pieces of equipment and replaced with a single backup boiler that now is redundant to the geothermal system at the high school. You can see before all of the pumps serving the various systems across the building. Now clean and fresh, maintaining all operation. Many of them have been downsized in terms of horsepower, improving the efficiency of the system across the whole building. Previously, you had large chillers that were the biggest consumers of electricity at the school. These set your demand peaks every single month that they were in operation and were the biggest drivers of electrical usage across the building. Now those have been replaced by geothermal heat pumps that, as you can see, you see the two rows right here. The first row, those are just some filters and some expansion tanks for the system. Those use no energy, there's no electrical connections, those are just little accessories that we're reusing that concrete pad for. But those little boxes at the back, those are geothermal heat pumps that replace those big boilers that we looked at in the first picture. So, and you see the two big black pipes at the back of the wall there. Those are the lines that go out to the geothermal field that is underneath the future baseball field location. So, this was your domestic hot water system before. You had the two large boilers and enormous storage tanks. Afterwards, you've got 3 instantaneous heaters on the wall. Up in the mezzanine of the high school, you had large, very cumbersome air handling units, large fans, lots of noise, lots of energy being consumed. Now you've got geothermal heat pumps in these locations. I think that I know that Gerald is quite happy of all the floor space that's now available up there. It's the difference of how the space is utilized is quite remarkable, and the noise level is different, the efficiency level is completely different. Really remarkable after, I would say. Here's another one of those units that serves the commons area of the high school. From a lighting perspective, this was your gym before. This is what your gym looks like now. I know at the last board meeting we looked at the middle school. I just am very pleased with how these turned out in terms of the light levels and the evenness across these gyms. I think that if you have an opportunity to go down and see, you'd be very impressed with what the results ended up looking like. And I know that the staff there is quite happy. No warm-up time on these new LED fixtures now. You can turn them off, turn them on with the flip of a switch. No warm-up times, none of the delays, none of the hum that the old fixtures had. Really, I think a very nice result here. Just a couple other pictures from around the high school of the improved light levels throughout common areas, through hallways, through classrooms. Really, I think that the LED renovation will please both teachers and those paying the bills at this school. And I look forward to being able to share. Yes, that's right. And I look forward to being able to share similar pictures for the commons area at the next meeting. The solar arrays that we installed at Hardinsburg and Irvington are fully operational, interconnected, producing power. You can see these drone shots of Hardinsburg Elementary, the new array that was installed there. I think that it looks really sharp. As you can see some of the highlights from a dashboard that the provider of some of the solar equipment has. That you've produced over almost 3.5 1,000 kilowatt hours of electricity just this month with the limited operation that we've had already. But the environmental benefits of almost 6,000 pounds of CO2 emissions offset through this energy production, equivalent trees planted. Those numbers will only increase as this has more time to run and generate. Good performance so far out of these two. We've had some really good weather for good production, and we've really seen the results. And here is the equivalent in shots for Irvington Elementary. And this is run for an extra day, started a day earlier than Hardensburg did, and that's why you see the slight increase for the production here. So if you have a chance to go out and take a look at these, I think they look really sharp. I think they'd be a great educational resource to be able to take the children at these schools and across the district up to talk about the environmental impact and the financial benefit to the district that some of these steps have taken. So that's what I had to share for pictures with the board. If anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to answer any. But I'm very, very pleased with how the project ended up going through a difficult time for really the district, for contractors, for all of us as we're dealing with COVID. And everyone has been great to work with. Michael, Justin, Gerald, everyone, and at the district side has really been great to work with from my perspective. So I just want to commend them for the job that they did as well during this project.
Any questions?
Thanks, Andrew. Jim was awesome. Thursday
Yeah.
night.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. Andy, thank you.
I just have a
All right,
thought.
thank you.
What?
Hold on, Andrew. Go ahead, Mark.
I just have a
Okay.
thought. It's really for Michael, but Andrew might know. Are we going to actually get to use our CO2 credits with the federal government, the state government?
I'm not aware at the moment if we can do that. It's certainly something we can check on.
Andrew, you might have a little more knowledge with that. I don't believe you can. Is that true?
I think in Kentucky, some of the legislation is written that keeps you from being able to. I know, like Virginia and Maryland and some of the states that have more incentives towards renewable resources let you sell renewable energy credits on a marketplace that they have to people in industry and things like that. Same way that cap and trade works for vehicle emissions and all that. But I don't believe that Kentucky has a marketplace right now. I know from more commercial installations, there are a lot of federal tax incentives and things like that, but I'm not certain that those apply for a school district.
Yeah, I was thinking more of incentives versus selling for
Right.
trading.
Right.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Andrew.
I think there's a possibility of a market getting set up in the future or in Kentucky, but at this time, I don't believe that is the case. But you guys fully own this resource and it belongs to the district now. So in the future, if such a thing takes place or gets set up, then you would have full ability to be able to do that.
Never know.
Thanks.
Andrew, thank you.
Thanks, Andrew.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, we got Ray Vasquez actually with us from Sherman Carter. He wanted to talk a little bit about the high school project.
Great.
Okay, good evening. I hope everybody can hear me okay.
Sure can.
Okay, I was told to be short and sweet, so I'll do that. We're finishing up the ATC, just going through closeout documents and getting those reviewed and just finishing up a few punch list items. So that project is wrapping up and turned out to be a great project for the district and very impressive space, and I hope you all got a chance to tour it. Like I said, it's a very impressive facility, not only for your district, but for the region and as a whole. So moving over to the high school, we met this past Monday, Mr. Moreland and the design team and construction team, and kind of went over some of the phasing and talked about the plan of attack on the high school.
Hey, Ray.
On the next picture.
Hey, Ray.
Yes, sir.
We can't see your screen.
Okay.
I think we're having a little bit of a...
Okay. It says let me start over then. I'll stop sharing and then I'll reshare. So.
Okay.
What about now?
Ray, it's not showing It's showing your desktop, but it's not showing anything.
You may need to present a window.
You might need to present a window.
Okay.
Yeah.
We just had it a minute ago, didn't we? All right, let's see.
Good thing I don't have to do that. I had to take Dale with me. That's a compliment, Dale.
What about now?
Yeah, I think it's gonna, there
Yeah,
it
we
is.
see your calendar.
That's not helping, I wanna show it.
Hey, Ray, what happened short and sweet, bud?
You look pretty busy though.
Well, I am, let's see, I'm trying to see if I can.
That looks like Rick Taylor's calendar.
But Rick uses a palm.
I just use my palm.
That's what it said.
Well, let me see here.
Well, while Ray's doing that, we did have a very productive meeting Monday. We met with the design team and the principals, and we did a pretty extensive walkthrough of the site at the high school, just looking at, everybody would make sure confirming what we were going to do. We talked a little bit about colors and planning and those kinds of things. So I think that's kind of what Ray's going to talk about.
We got you now, Ray.
Okay, well, I apologize for that, and, I'm still trying to get caught up on this technology myself. I had it earlier, so the practice run was good, so, anyway, I'll kind of just go back to what we were talking about. We had a good meeting Monday just to kind of talk through the plan of attack on the high school, and what I put together is just a couple graphics to kind of show some phases, and so it's hard to see the text, but the blue areas will kind of be what I'll call phase A. That'll be like the restrooms on the first floor here, and the computer lab, the little office and staff toilet back here, and then the toilets up by the gymnasium as well will kind of be the first phase. And the plan is to have those done by or just after Christmas or before the new year, to have those in place and ready to go and operational. And then the second part will then, I'll kind of flip back and forth between the two floor plans. You can kind of see where that is on the second floor. Again, the computer lab area and the restrooms here, both pretty much stacking the work there. And then phase B will kind of move into the green portions, the media center and the new stair and the cafeteria commons area. And then also the new seating in the auditorium will be started kind of in the spring. I know we've got an event planned for the auditorium. The goal is to be able to be finished in time for that event to occur. I think it is late April or early May is what we were told Monday. So that's the goal, to get those spaces done. And then you can kind of see again just that kind of monumental stair that we're bringing into that commons area is going to be a really nice feature to that space once that's complete. And then lastly, you see a bunch of the kind of maroon or the red. That'll be phase C. And so most of this work some of this work will start in the spring, but most of it will be trying to happen during the summer. So a lot of it is like painting of the gym, painting of the hallways and that kind of thing, the stairs, and then redoing the ceilings in the commons area as well, the new pad tile in there. So, and then you also have the addition here on the end for the new weight room, and then also the two storage rooms at the I guess west end of the building. On the second floor, again, just painting throughout the corridors, just kind of showing you some of the roof area. And then the plan is that we'll start in the spring with the roof kind of towards the new addition side of the weight room side, and then work towards the classroom wing. That way, by the time we get to the classroom wing, school should be just about finished up, and we're trying to minimize interruption to the normal class day. So that's kind of the plan we've got going right now. And then obviously your athletics are underway, and the goal is to be able to have the fields ready for the spring season. So that's attainable, and that's where we're at right now. So if y'all have any questions, I'll be glad to answer those. But I think, like I said, we're just getting started and getting into shop drawings. And so things will start happening here very soon. So
Exciting times.
It is, right? It looks great. Thank you.
Thank you, Ray.
all right, thank you all.
Anything else, Michael?
No,
Okay.
I look forward to it.
All right.
Thanks, Ray.
Thanks, Ray.
We'll move
Y'all have a
on.
good evening.
Thank you. We'll move on to item 2, which is approve the BG4s for the ATC construction project. Yay.
Yes, this is one step closer to finishing this thing out. I'm hoping to have it finished out by in October. It finished about 5% over the original construction cost, but to be honest, a lot of it had to do with the change order we did early to correct the pump station that serviced that location, so that was a big part of it. I still think the project's probably gonna yield about $60,000 in surplus with interest that we've earned on the funds, plus the equipment budget came in a little bit under, so I move to approve BG4s.
Mark makes the motion,
Second.
Rick seconds. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Move that one step closer.
Yes,
Get
ma'am.
that baby done. Item 3 is set and approve the tax rate on the real estate and personal property for the 2021 school year.
Move to approve. Finally, we got to this meeting after my scheduling error. But I move to approve the tax rates at 55.4 for real estate and personal property.
Which is the same rate as last year.
Same as right now. I'll make a motion.
Mark
Second.
makes the motion, Rick seconds. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Glad to be able to keep that the same. Item 4 is approve the 2021 capital funds request.
It's an opportunity to use excess capital funds for operating expenses, and we're going to buy Mr. Mike Harness some shiny new buses and help offset some of our insurance costs on our buildings. Move to approve.
Vanessa makes a motion,
Second.
Rick seconds. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Shiny new buses. Item 5 is approve the 2021 working budget.
Get to talk quite a bit on these last few items. I'm going to talk about the budget just for a minute or so, if you don't mind to indulge me for a minute. This budget was, as you can imagine, was really tough to put together, given the state funding levels, COVID-19, and some other issues. Last year was a tough year for us. We lost $500,000, $500,000, took that loss. We still have a very healthy reserve in our fund balance, right at 20%, so we're going to be able to absorb that loss and continue to move on. Some of the things that contributed to that loss. The first thing, and probably the most important, is that SEEK, we saw a reduction of $1.3 million over the year before. A lot of things contributed to that. Flat funding rates. We're using funded enrollment from a couple years ago. As you might imagine, COVID-19 kind of messed up the ability for SEEK to pull in 1920 numbers. And of course, a couple years ago, I don't know if you all remember, we had some issues with the flu. We had abnormal absences, and that's the funding number that we're currently using. So that hasn't helped. Transportation took a reduction of $200,000 from the previous year. Typically, the state takes any surplus SEEK appropriation and they allocate it back out to the school districts through the transportation formula. This past year, the state decided to keep that in their general fund for obvious reasons. And so we didn't receive that extra bump that we typically receive in the last quarter. So transportation took a bump, and of course, property assessments have continued to grow during this time. In fact, we've seen some nice growth in property assessment over the last couple of years, but that also makes SEEK go down. So to kind of offset that SEEK loss, you're also looking at some increased property tax revenue just from the simple fact of assessment growth. And then we also had a 6.2% operating expense reduction from the previous year, mainly due to the spending freeze that we put on in the last quarter of the year. But it did help offset a potentially much larger loss from SEEK from last year. So, all that wonderful news leads me into 2021, which I do think things will begin to look up. The total budget is $34.9 million. Now, that's all the funds, grants, food service operations. $25.1 million is allocated to the general fund. We're looking at payroll to decrease by $250,000. A lot of that has to do with some relief we've been able to receive from the CARES Act funding, which is going to help us. Also, operating budget is going to be very interesting to watch. And why is that? Well, Andrew just did his presentation on the energy savings. It's going to cut those utility spends in half. Now, granted, some of those savings are going to be used to finance equipment, but we feel like we can get some additional savings out of those utility upgrades as well. Transportation project finally goes live this year. We've been working on it forever. Mr. Harned, myself, Mr. Butler, and Mr. Brockman. We cut 8 routes going into this year. That is very significant considering that's probably more cuts if you take the last 7 years combined. And we still think, even with some implementation costs we've had to do from getting routing software and those kinds of things, still feel pretty comfortable we can get $100,000 in savings out of that project. So bottom line is, if you take anything away from this budget, is we've seen a couple of years where they're lean that we've been going through. But we do feel like that starting this year and looking forward, these initiatives that we've been undergoing are really going to take effect, and we're going to start seeing some real successes over the next couple of years in our budget. So I move to approve the working budget.
Let's make a motion.
Mark makes a motion.
Second.
Rick seconds. Any other discussion there? All those in favor? Pass that. Thank you, Michael.
Yes, thank you.
Item 6 is approve the part-time speech services agreement.
This is where we have an increased need for speech services at Ben Johnson Elementary School. Need for speech services in the district has been going up over the last couple of years, and our speech services team and Mr. Brockman worked to realign this summer, but even with that realignment, there's still a need for some additional. So we are asking for approval to hire a part-time speech services therapist to fill that need at Ben Johnson Elementary.
Move to approve.
Joy makes a motion.
Second.
Vanessa seconds. Any other discussion there? All those in favor? All right. Any BCEA, BCSB?
No.
Nothing? Superintendent's report.
All right, I'll be really quick. I think first, we are off to a terrific start to the 2021 school year, all things considered. I realize that remote learning is certainly not the preferred method for school to take place, but the students and staff, parents, community, they're doing a terrific job. Everybody's working really hard. Just as when we think about the level of service and face-to-face interaction, there's been over 4,000 Google meetings take place between staff and students since August the 25th, which is remarkable, all things considered, because we know that many of our students live in areas where the internet's a little bit sketchy and not easy for them to attain. But even though I know it's been challenging, I am very proud of our school district and proud of our teachers and staff and students and parents for the work that they're doing there to make the best out of a very tough situation. I'd like to also recognize the efforts of our high school and middle school teams in getting set up for fall sports. Both teams have developed and implemented a terrific plan to allow our student athletes the best opportunity possible to compete during the pandemic. In-person instruction for students in the school district will begin on Monday, September the 28th under an AB schedule. Any parent or guardian that's not comfortable with sending their child back to in-person school will have the option to continue with the school district's remote learning program. And as a reminder, fall break is coming up. It'll take place in the school district on October 5th through the 9th, and there will not be any school for students on Friday, October the 2nd. And that concludes the superintendent's report.
Thank you very much. Motion for adjournment.
Move to adjourn.
Rick makes a motion.
Second.
Mark seconds. Anybody opposed? All in favor?